Hi, I'm Father Anthony Hannon from Envium Patches, and this is To Prepare His Way. The topic of this video is to be an atheist is to be against science. Now, some of you have seen my last video, Confirmation Bias, Keep an Open Mind. And in that video, you may recall that I said, let's set the standard for these talks as rational thought. And I invite again, anyone who would see any errors in my rational thought, in my thinking, that is, invalid arguments, logical fallacies, to let me know. And maybe I'm even not presenting the definitions of atheism as you would want. Maybe I'm misrepresenting that, so you let me know. And this will help me clarify, help me understand perhaps you or others better. Okay? Sounds good? I hope so. Nowadays we hear a lot of people saying that they do not believe in God, and they even assert that they are atheists because they believe in science. And to believe in science is to somehow not believe in God. Well, I believe in science, and many scientists believe in God. How can this be? Let's try to sort this out. I'm not going to get too deep or too technical here. I'm just going to relate a story, something in my life about 15 years ago. I was walking into a pharmacy. It was about 5 minutes before closing. Now the cash was right at the front door. And the cashier was not that happy to see a customer coming in right before closing. But she was friendly and stuff. She said, "Oh sir, we're closing in a few minutes. Do you know what you're looking for?" "Yeah, actually, what I'm looking for is little bottles of Purell. Do you have any of those?" She said, "Oh, I don't know if we have any. If we do, they'd be in aisle 4. I said, "Great." And I went off over to aisle 4. Now, you know what Purell is. Purell is that alcohol-based hand sanitizer. And at the time, I was in a very large parish, and I was shaking a lot of people's hands, and I hate being sick, so I always carried a little bottle of Purell in my pocket, and I was empty. I was out of them. Or I lost it or something, whatever it was. So I go over to aisle 4 and I look and at the bottom there I see Purell. Awesome. But it was only in large bottles. They had 500 ml or 750 ml, something like that. So I look a little bit more and I'm looking, I don't see anything, and I'm feeling a little bit of stress because I know they want to leave, and I was tired anyway, so I said, well, I'll get it somewhere else. Now, in retrospect, I probably could have bought that, and I probably could have found one of my empty Purell bottles somewhere back at home and filled it up, but it was a kind of a rash decision. I left. On the way out, the store manager intercepts me, and she says, "Did you find what you're looking for, sir?" Well, kind of. Not really. I'm looking for Purell, and you have that, but I'm looking for it in little bottles. And she says, "Oh, there's no such thing." I said, "Oh, okay, thanks." I left. When I was a lot younger, maybe 18 or 20 years old, I don't know. And if I was in a particular mood especially, I would probably argue with her. I'd probably say, yes, there is such a thing as little bottles of Purell. I've seen them, I have them, and well, I don't have any on me, but they exist. When I was a certain age and certain times, I guess I could get that way sometimes, maybe. I don't know, you who know me, maybe you'll be able to tell me better. But I probably would have argued with her, probably say, yes. Anyway, I let it go. I left. But this claim that she made proved to be very, very fruitful. As a matter of fact, I think this was my first homily I gave when I became, either when I became a deacon or when I became a priest, about the little bottle of Purell and whether they exist or not. I was thinking, what a strange thing to say that there is no such thing as little bottles of Purell. I mean, not only because I know they exist, I've seen them, I've felt them, I've experienced this, unless I'm dreaming. Are we going to go all Rene Descartes now or something? I don't know. But yeah, no, I know they exist. It's not only because of that, but to claim that something does not exist really is saying that you know it all, that you know everything that exists. You know that you have the list of everything that exists, and this thing that you're claiming does not exist. It's not there. It's not what we call in philosophy, we call it ontology, the list of all things that exist. You're kind of claiming to be God. So it's kind of ironic that an atheist asserts that there is no God. But in saying that, what they're really saying is they know everything that exists, which is, by the way, one of the definitions of God. All-knowing. He knows everything. Okay? Anyway, let's just think about this for a second. There's no such thing as little bottles of Purell. If I was in a room filled with people and I started searching everyone, empty your pockets, I want to find out if anyone has a little bottle of Purell in this room. And by the time I started, maybe I started over there and I went over there, and by the time I went over there, someone I didn't search over there, they give someone else who I already searched a bottle of Purell. And then I searched everyone, and I would say, well, one thing I know, whether little bottles of Purell exist or not, they don't exist in this room. And I would be wrong. And think of that store manager for a second. There's no such thing as little bottles of Purell. Like she knows, right? Like she's searched every car in the parking lot, every house, every drawer, and every washroom in the whole city, the whole country, the whole world. She's looked at every square inch, and there's no such thing as little bottles of Purell. That doesn't seem logical. You know, logic is a pure science. It's a pure science. And to assert that something doesn't exist, even a little bottle of Purell, means that you're being illogical and you're being unscientific. Now, that cashier, she kind of had a better attitude, right? She had more reasonable approach. I don't know if we have any, but if we do, they're in aisle 4. So I kind of named that manager the little bottle of Purell atheist, if you get my drift. I know it's mixing up terms, but... Or the cashier, I would say, she's a little bottle of Purell agnostic. You know, if someone came to that cashier and said, do you believe in God? Is there a God? Do you know if there's a God? And that cashier might say, I don't know. I really don't know. But if there is, maybe you want to ask the people down the street, you know that church there? Or even that synagogue or mosque or Hindu temple or whatever? I think they might believe in God. Why don't you go ask them? And that's a more reasonable thing. We call this at least suspending judgment. And you know what? I think that most scientists, if they don't believe in God, because many scientists believe in God, I might make a bold claim and say throughout history, the vast majority of scientists did believe in God. But at least it would be a reasonable approach to suspend judgment and say, I'm not sure. There may or may not be a God. That's my presentation for why to be an atheist is to be against science. Let me know what you think in the comments. Click the subscribe button if you're not a subscriber already. Turn the notification bell on, and you'll hear when another video is coming out. In the meantime, God bless you, for those who believe in God, and in Vim Patches, into the way of peace.